Round 2 of the Rugby Championship saw New Zealand thoroughly claim the Kings of the Dirttttyyy South title. Exceptional performance. In this match, we want to know which player turned back the clock in sensational style. Which game plan won out? Was it the North style or the Southern style, Southern Hemisphere style? And how many 9 out of 10 player rankings can we fit into one rugby team? This New Zealand performance in Auckland, but not at Eden Park, was absolutely sensational. Brought a big smile to my dial after a really dour, sad, rough week following the Wallabies' shout-out loss. The fact that I am giving the win of the game styles to the South in terms of fast ball movement, lots of ball movement, good solid runs, strong runs, lots of offloads, and tactical, strong kicking territory game and counter-attack was just sensational to watch. Everything that the Springboks B team claimed and shut out Australia was non-existent or was absolutely decimated by the All Blacks game plan. And I think, I'm not sure who the game plan came from, but it's very obvious. You had just so much ball movement in that first 20 that absolutely blitzed the Blockies and really claimed the game and set the game up for the rest of the match. I think it takes a lot of skill, a lot of basics executed at the exceptional level that the All Blacks are famous for to be able to execute that game plan. But to see a team that was able to take control, play the game on their own terms against the team that had done that, arguably the most clinically I'd ever seen last week, was just totally awestruck, awe-inspiring to watch. I absolutely loved it. I loved Ethan de Groot throwing the ball around, Tyrell Lomax throwing the ball around, just so much more ball movement, and that gave the capacity or the game line against South Africa to claim that collision, to use their big bodies, and really, one, it tired them out. Two, it didn't let them get that collision win, and the All Blacks were able to break through that game line, and it just set the tone for the match. And the Springboks just had nothing, which is super cool to see as a Wallabies fan from last week, where they just totally had everything. Such an awesome game, so much running rugby. I absolutely loved it. It was a really strong performance. I thought the Springboks were able to squeeze in towards the end when the bomb squad came on. Malcolm Marx, the two props, Vincent Koch and the other bloke, were able to sort of turn the tide, get more of a forward dominant game going. Obviously, playing that first 20 minutes at such a frenetic pace did have the impact on the All Blacks, I think, to the ability to round out and close out the entire performance. I'm not sure if they've shown enough to really be able to really shut down the French or the South Africans away from New Zealand or the Irish, but certainly a sensational game. Perfect 20 minutes, perfectly executed start to the game that really set the tone and set up the win. Let's dive into the ratings of the forwards, the ratings of the backs. I thought a really strong performance from the All Black forward pack. The quick ball movement, the execution of skills and offloads, control of the breakdown was exemplary. They really shut out the Springboks. They knew when to commit, when not to commit. I think there was a lot of fears about the way the Super Rugby New Zealand teams had played, that the Springboks would be able to get in and really control and disrupt the breakdown. But just they executed just absolutely perfect. The All Blacks in controlling that breakdown for most of the match. Set piece was strong for most of the match as well, even with the bomb squad coming on. Tamati Williams getting his first All Blacks cap was able to hold against that inevitable bomb squad front row that the Springboks are so proud of. Ultimately, it would have been a higher score had the bomb squad in the second half from South Africa not been able to get inroads in. I thought there was a couple of quite a players that obviously were targeted by the Springboks, and that's why they scored lower, which ultimately brings down the forward pack score to a 7 out of 10, still well above average, still well above a solid B+. They were able to dominate the game for 20 minutes through clear and clinical skills. But then the Springboks were able to, through the sheer skill that they have in the forward pack, were able to take a couple of points off as the game went to a close and the All Blacks started to tire. The Bomb Squad made some inroads. So 7 out of 10 for the forward pack. Backline, not much wrong, not much to pick apart from the backline. Exceptionally well executed passing. We had the double playmaker spine of Richie Mo'unga and Beauden Barrett really kicking on and controlling the game. I found like when one was controlling the game, the other one was a little bit quieter. But then when the other person got quieter, the other playmakers really stepped up. I thought Bodie really controlled that first half, that first 20 minutes superbly. Then when he started to be taken out of the game a little bit, Richie Mo'unga stepped up and was able to ice out the rest of the game. So super performance from the backs. Will Jordan, I'm not sure if there's any stopping him from claiming the All Blacks try-scoring record and potentially the Tier 1 try-scoring record. He just finds the try line, finds the meters, finds the breaks. Is exceptional in open play and a really awesome performance to welcome him back to the All Blacks jersey. I think the only thing stopping him is probably keeping his body together and particularly around the concussions, keeping him and his head protected and safe. So 8 out of 10 for the All Blacks backs. Again, similar to the forward pack, the backline was did start to fade towards the end of the match, arguably as we had the finishers come on. Cheslin Kolbe, the sort of the class acts of the Springboks, took some points off right at the end. But the All Blacks' performance was clinical, was exceptional, controlled the game well. Aaron Smith really set the tone with slick performance, slick ball from the front. And I think ultimately was a really strong performance from the back line. 8 out of 10, a really satisfying result for the All Blacks backs. Diving into the Razzle Dazzlers, I asked at the top, how many 9 ratings can we fit into one team? The answer for this match is 3. But again, that's the highest that we've ever had in our 2-3 match history. Kicking us off, number 1, Richie Mo'unga with a 9. I thought it was a little bit quiet in that first 10 minutes or 10, 15, 20 minutes of the All Blacks performance. But that was when Bodie was really standing up and really guiding the game from the back as the Springboks attempted to execute their kicking plan. Bodie really took the control of that. So Richie Mo'unga then for the rest of the match slipped into gear, controlled the match with silky passes, well-timed, perfect execution of a number of different backline moves. Kicking, I think it was perfect off the tee, if not very close to. And really a great all-round performance from Richie coming in at a 9. Will Jordan, like I said, is our second 9 in the Razzle Dazzlers. Again, every touch he got, he really executed superbly, really cut up the Springboks backs. I think defended well when he was called upon. But yeah, super slick performance from Will Jordan in his return to the All Blacks jersey and to getting some consistent game time. A 9 as well. Rounding out our top 3, our 3 9s, was Beauden Barrett coming from the back. Been up and down all season. I think there was glimpses throughout the Super Rugby season, but never really kicked on. In this match, he really stood up, particularly in those early stages, and set the tone. I think quick throw into him, cut up the field, good tactical kicking, really set up a number of good plays from the All Blacks and in those first 20 minutes. And then the rest of the match, he was super strong under the high ball, really was able to control and respond to the kicking game the South Africans attempted to roll out. Some great tactical kicks, cross kicks, lots of awesome things in his game that we hadn't seen until this game in his season so far. So exciting and very scary things for the rest of World Rugby to see from those players kicking on. Rounding out our Razzle Dazzles, the 2 forwards. Coming in at number 4, he grabbed a sensational bollocking number 6 running try down the side. Shannon Frizzell maybe putting his hand up to claim that number 6 jersey that hadn't really been nailed down since Jerome Kano claimed it, and it was a very Jerome Kano type of performance from Shannon. Frizzell is just really strong hits, strong hit-ups, He was there in support everywhere. He was following the ball around, hungry. I think he faded out towards the end of the match, which is why I've got him down as an 8. But super, super slick performance from Shannon Frizzell, and put his hand up to really stamp his name on that All Blacks jersey for now. Rounding out our top 5 is Ethan de Groot. I thought he really contributed to not only keeping the All Blacks set piece strong, stable, he also contributed strongly in defence, controlling the breakdown, and then through his passes around, through some quick passes around to, again, part of that first 20 minutes to blitz the Bockies was just so sensational at executing those skills. I thought a really strong 7, and our first prop to make it into the Razzle Dazzlers. Really nailed down his spot in number 1 and stood up strong against a hungry and top tier, top A1 forward back. Well done, team. Flim Flammers, not very many. In fact, the Flim Flammers come in at a low point of 5 out of 10s, 3 of them. I think 2 of these are probably because they were targeted by the Springboks and unable to get the dominance that they usually do, so maybe it's a harsh mark. From the top, Rieko Ioane coming in with a 5. I thought solid in the midfield, stood up, did his defensive work, did his job. I don't think he executed or was able to get into the game the same way, at the same level that the rest of the All Blacks backline was able to get into. Coming in at a 5 for Rieko, I think probably working his way into the 13 jersey, and I'm not sure. I know Briley Proctor is playing his heart out to try and push for the A place. But yeah, definitely done enough to earn his place in the World Cup squad. Not sure if he's really now down the 13 channel though yet. Artie Severe, a rare appearance in the Flim Flammers, coming in at a 5 as well. I think this is largely to being targeted and let Shannon Frizzell rack up the points and rack up the dominance in the game. But a really measured performance by Artie's, glimpses of brilliance in attack, glimpses in defence, strong carries. Came in at the right body height, which is really awesome to see from number 8. Really controlled the game well. Tough call for the third one, Dalton Papalili. Coming in at a 5, I thought he played solidly, but in a chance that he had to really push and see if he could edge Sam Cane out of the side, the All Blacks captain coming off injured. Wasn't able to really get into the game that second half, maybe because of the bomb squad coming in from Springboks starting to divert attention and divert momentum back their way, but wasn't able to control that the same way that Shannon Frizzell, Artie Severe, and even Sam Cane were able to in the first half. I was expecting a little bit more from Dalton, but ultimately a solid performance. Wrapping out a super solid Flim Flammers at straight 5s is pretty epic and indicative of the performance of the All Blacks. Finally, the game rank, the rating from this game. I was super chuffed to watch this. It was a really, really slick game. I think the fact that it wasn't a full 80-minute performance, not that the All Blacks necessarily turned off or anything like that. They didn't put any in Wallaby-esque terms, do anything like that, but just the fact that the Springboks were able to even get a sniff in towards the end, not on the scoreboard, but were able to change the momentum of the game. I think that puts us around that top 60%, like sort of closing in on the top 3 games to watch. That first 20 was top tier. That was like right up there, winning the Australia winning the World Cup. It was so awesome to watch. Rest of the game started to go down a peg, but super slick game to watch. Springboks coming back, it had it all. That's us for today. Let me know if you had any thoughts, any suggestions, any critiques. I was interested to know what your ratings were of particularly the Razzle Dazzlers, the Flim Flammers. Catch you next time, team.